Is your digital strategy a real roadmap to creating value? Or is it, well, just a really expensive list of projects? It's a huge distinction. And look, if it feels more like the second one, don't worry, there's a disciplined way to fix it.
Okay, so first things first, we have to talk about a really costly mistake I see all the time. I call it the digital strategy trap. And it's this powerful, almost knee-jerk reaction to jump straight into building something before we've even figured out the goal.
Let me give you a real-world example. I knew this large logistics company, and they had this big, bold ambition. They wanted to be the Uber of trucking. Sounds great, right? Super catchy. So what was their first move? They immediately threw millions of dollars at developing a mobile app. They just assumed the tech was the answer.
And the result? Well, you can probably guess. It was a predictable disaster. The project was a total mess, plagued with delays, and almost nobody used it. And why? Because they had a catchy slogan, but they didn't have a real strategy. They totally skipped the foundational work of figuring out why they were even building this thing and what exactly it was supposed to achieve for the business. And this is the core mistake we're talking about. The trap is jumping straight to the how, the app, the new software, whatever. And that just leads to wasted time and money. The solution? You have to start with the why, the business goal. That's how you get a coherent plan that actually has a fighting chance of success.
So how do you avoid falling into that trap? Well, you do it by building your strategy in a specific sequence, using 3 distinct building blocks. And trust me, getting the order right is everything.
It's a really simple, logical progression. First up is visioning. That's your why. Second, strategy formulation. That's your what. And only then, after you've done those two, do you get to implementation, the how. You absolutely cannot skip a step, and you definitely can't do them out of order. It just doesn't work. All right, let's dig into that first one, visioning. Now, this is not about picking the latest cool technology. This is a high-level, strategic conversation you have with your business counterparts. The whole point is to answer that fundamental question, how will technology help us win in our market? You're defining the destination, the North Star. And the difference this makes is, well, it's night and day. Without a clear vision, your IT team is basically just a reactive order taker putting out fires. But with a powerful vision, suddenly IT becomes a true strategic partner, someone who's actively at the table creating new business opportunities. That's the transformation we're aiming for. Okay, so once your why is locked in, you can move on to strategy formulation. This is the what. This is where you take that big, ambitious vision and start translating it into a concrete plan. You're defining the specific capabilities, the products, the services that you'll need to make that vision a reality.
What this step does is it transforms what was probably a random-looking bunch of projects into a single, prioritized portfolio. It's like going from a junk drawer of tools to a perfectly organized toolbox. Suddenly, every single initiative has a clear owner, and you can draw a straight line from it all the way back to the vision. Everything has a purpose.
And finally, we get to the how. Implementation planning. This is the part where most leaders mistakenly start, right? But now, by this point, it's grounded in a clear vision and strategy. This is where you create the detailed roadmap, the timelines, the resources, the KPIs, and crystal clear accountability. Without those first 2 building blocks, your strategy is just going to be some fancy document that gathers dust on a shelf. We've all seen those. But when it's built on a solid foundation, your implementation plan becomes this living, breathing, actionable guide that actually drives real change. Okay, so you built the plan. Awesome. But we all know even the best plans can completely fall apart during execution. So let's talk about how you make sure your strategy is actually working in the real world. So how do you really know if this big strategic shift is actually happening? The truth is in your budget. Yeah, there's one key metric that just cuts through all the noise and tells you where your organization's real priorities are. You need to track the ratio of your strategic spend versus your operational IT spend. Think about it. Are you spending all your money just keeping the lights on, or are you actually funding new, value-creating initiatives that move the vision forward? A healthy organization is always actively shifting this ratio towards more strategic work. This number right here, this is the proof that your strategy is more than just talk. And as you're executing this, please watch out for these 3 classic traps. First, the vision strategy gap. That's when you have a beautiful, inspiring vision that is completely disconnected from reality. Second, analysis paralysis. We've all been there, right? You get so stuck in planning and strategizing that you never actually do anything. And third, and this is a huge one, ignoring the people. A digital strategy is also a human strategy. You have to plan for the cultural shifts and the new skills your team will need to succeed.
All right, we've covered the problem, we've walked through the framework. Now, let's turn all this theory into action. What is the one thing you can do, like this week, to start making this happen?
Here it is, your Monday morning action. This week, block out 1 hour on your team's calendar for a single meeting. The only thing on the agenda is defining, or maybe just refining, your why. No tech talk, no project lists. Just focus on that one question. How will technology help our business win? Start there. If you just do that one thing, you are on the right path.